Erin Moran held on to her bitter grudges until the very end. Erin Moran, beloved actress and star of television's Happy Days, was born on October 18, 1960, in Burbank, California. She grew up in North Hollywood, where she was surrounded by the entertainment industry from a young age. Her early exposure to acting in Hollywood set the stage for a career that would define her as a memorable figure in television history. Raised in a large, close-knit family, Moran was the second youngest of 6 children. Her parents supported her early interest in acting, with her mother, Erin Moran, acting as her primary guide and manager throughout her career's early stages. This family dynamic created a foundation of love and support, which Erin relied on during both the highs and lows of her career. Moran began her acting career at the tender age of 5 when she was cast in a TV commercial. This early start marked the beginning of a promising career for the young actress, leading to appearances in numerous television shows and films throughout the 1960s and early 1970s. She quickly gained a reputation for her talent and charm, earning roles on series such as Daktari and guest starring in The Don Rickles Show, Family Affair, and The Courtship of Eddie's Father. Moran's ability to light up the screen with her energetic personality captured the attention of casting directors and audiences alike, signaling a bright future in the entertainment industry. However, Moran's big break came in 1974 when she was cast as Joni Cunningham on the hit television show Happy Days. As Joni, the younger sister of Richie Cunningham, played by Ron Howard, Moran became a fan favorite. Her portrayal of the sweet yet feisty teenage girl resonated with viewers of all ages, and she quickly became one of the most recognizable faces on television. The chemistry between Moran and her co-stars was palpable, and the relationships she formed with them both on and off the screen would last a lifetime. Her character's journey from a precocious teen to a young woman in love captivated audiences, particularly in the spin-off series Joni Loves Chachi, where Joni's romance with Chachi Arcola, played by Scott Baio, became a focal point. Happy Days remained on the air for over a decade, during which time Moran's star continued to rise. Despite her success, Moran remained humble and grounded, often attributing her achievements to the strong bond she shared with her family and the close-knit cast of Happy Days. Yet, like many child stars, Moran faced difficulties once the show ended in 1984. Transitioning from a beloved television character to a successful adult career proved challenging. Though she appeared in various guest roles on TV shows such as The Love Boat, Murder, She Wrote, and Diagnosis Murder, Moran struggled to recapture the success she had found as Joni Cunningham. In the years that followed, Moran experienced personal and professional hardships. Financial difficulties, health issues, and struggles with addiction made headlines and overshadowed the bright image that many fans had of the former child star. Despite these challenges, Moran's love for acting and her indomitable spirit remained intact. She made several appearances in reunion specials for Happy Days and always spoke fondly of her time on the show, remembering it as the happiest period of her life. In 1987, Moran married Rocky Ferguson. They divorced in 1993. Later that year, she married Stephen Fleischman. Erin Moran, beloved for her role as Joni Cunningham on the iconic TV show Happy Days, tragically passed away in 2017 after a long and painful battle with cancer. Her final years were marked by both physical suffering and emotional hardship, much of which she spent away from the limelight. In her last days, she reached out for support from some of her former castmates, including Ron Howard, Anson Williams, and Henry Winkler, all of whom had shared the spotlight with her during the peak of her career. However, according to reports, her cries for help largely went unanswered, and Moran reportedly felt abandoned by those she once considered friends. One of the most painful moments was her alleged final interaction with Ron Howard, who had played her older brother on Happy Days. After her death, Howard claimed he did not know Moran's struggles, an assertion that sparked controversy. Some sources claimed that Howard had been overheard discussing Moran's troubles before her passing, suggesting that he was not as unaware as he had stated. This revelation fueled the narrative that Moran, homeless and battling cancer, had been left to fend for herself while her former co-stars, many of whom had found continued success in Hollywood, did little to assist her. Despite her dire circumstances, Moran's pleas for help seemed to fall on deaf ears. As her health deteriorated, she struggled with both financial and emotional burdens. It's been speculated that her co-stars, who had the financial means to step in, chose not to involve themselves in her struggles. Ron Howard, a multi-millionaire director, and other successful cast members of Happy Days, like Henry Winkler, remained notably absent from Moran's life during her darkest hours. This absence has drawn criticism, especially given the public perception that the cast of Happy Days was like a family. Their failure to provide Moran with support when she needed it most contrasts starkly with the camaraderie depicted on the show, making her final years all the more tragic. The bitterness of these circumstances was compounded by a reunion that Moran attended years before her death. A special event meant to celebrate the legacy of Happy Days instead highlighted the emotional distance between Moran and her co-stars. In particular, her interactions with Scott Baio, who had played her on-screen love interest in both Happy Days and the spin-off Joni Loves Chachi, were icy and uncomfortable. During the reunion, Moran was visibly emotional, even crying at one point. She reportedly tried to approach Baio, but he refused to acknowledge her, sitting at a distance and avoiding eye contact. Witnesses of the event noted the tension between them, and it became so palpable that Gary Marshall, the show's creator, physically sat between them in an attempt to defuse the situation. It was clear that something had gone deeply wrong between Baio and Moran, though the specifics remained unclear to the public. Scott Baio's reaction to Moran's death only deepened the controversy surrounding their relationship. Upon learning of her passing, Baio made cold and seemingly heartless comments that shocked many fans. He admitted that while he was shocked by the news of her death, he was not completely shocked, attributing her demise to substance abuse. He publicly stated, "If you do drugs or drink, you're going to die," implying that Moran's struggles with addiction were responsible for her death. His remarks were made although Moran's official cause of death was complications from stage 4 cancer, not drugs or alcohol. Baio's insensitivity angered many, especially given that he was well aware of Moran's battle with cancer at the time. The insensitivity of Baio's comments in the wake of Moran's death led many to question his character. Although he later backtracked, stating that he was upset about Moran's death, the damage had been done. His initial reaction was seen as cruel and dismissive, particularly because he had publicly blamed her death on addiction, even though cancer squamous cell carcinoma was the actual cause. Some speculated that Baio harbored unresolved resentment towards Moran, which may have influenced his harsh response. Others wondered if Baio's comments reflected a larger issue within Hollywood, where public personas often mask private feelings and actions. The entertainment industry is notorious for cultivating relationships that are shallow and transactional, and many fans were left wondering if Baio's coldness was emblematic of the lack of support Moran experienced from her Happy Days family. The entire situation left a bitter taste in the mouths of Moran's fans, many of whom felt that she deserved better from the people she had worked with for so many years. While the public may never know the full extent of what transpired between Moran and her co-stars, it is clear that her final years were marked by profound isolation. Moran's husband, Steve Fleischman, later confirmed in an open letter, shared through Baio himself, that Moran had been diagnosed with throat cancer around Thanksgiving of 2016 and that her condition had deteriorated rapidly. By the time of her death, on April 22, 2017, authorities in Corydon, Indiana, were alerted about an unresponsive female, later identified as Moran. She later was pronounced dead at the age of 56. Her cancer had metastasized, leaving her in tremendous pain and suffering. The facilities that had attempted to treat her cancer had not made it clear just how far the disease had progressed, adding to the confusion and helplessness felt by her family in Moran's final days. The letter painted a poignant picture of a woman who had fought bravely against a cruel disease, only to lose her battle in relative obscurity and without the full support of the people who had once been her closest companions. In the end, Erin Moran's death was not just a story of personal tragedy but also one of the darker aspects of Hollywood's culture of abandonment. While the public may have loved her for her role as Joni, it is clear that her former co-stars, those with the means and resources to help, chose to turn a blind eye. Her death from cancer, and the rumors surrounding her final days, serve as a reminder of how quickly people can be forgotten once the cameras stop rolling and the spotlight fades. Rest in peace, Erin Moran. You may have been neglected in life, but you were loved by those who remembered you for who you truly were.